San Diego State baseball just showed you exactly who they are, and it's both exciting and a little frustrating at the same time. They lost game one to Grand Canyon, giving up 4 home runs, and then turn around and win a 12-11 thriller where they survive 2 grand slams and get a clutch 3-run homer in the ninth from Tice Peterson. That's the definition of a roller coaster. They close the series with a 7-2 win, clean, efficient, and good pitching. That's the version of this team that can win consistently. But here's the question. Why don't we see that every game? Because when the pitching slips or they give up big innings, it puts too much pressure on the offense to bail them out. This team has talent, but if they want to contend in the Mountain West Conference and potentially make an NCAA Tournament regional, they've got to find the consistency. It was a classic up and down week for San Diego State athletics, and the theme is very simple. They're competing, but not always finishing cleanly.
No, baseball wins a big conference series. Softball also showing elite offense, but dropping another series, and overall consistency for them. Just the biggest question is on the baseball side, taking 2 out of 3 from the Grand Canyon Lopes, but the way they did it tells you everything. Game one, it was a 9-3 loss, gave up 4 home runs. Opponent hit 556 with 2 outs. That's big. That is a situational pitching struggle, plain and simple. Game two, though, absolute chaos. Survived 2 Grand Canyon grand slams. Count them, 1, 2 grand slams. Tice Peterson delivered a 3-run homer in the ninth inning, a 12-11 win, and then a 7-2 win in a nice controlled game and a great outing from Alex Bellardis. Sorry.
Yeah, small. They played smart small ball execution. They had squeeze bunts. They had situational hitting, which is all good to see. And the key to take away, of course, is there are 2 versions of this team. There's the disciplined, pitching supported team that wins series, and then there's the lose mistake prone team that gives up big innings. Right now, they're 15-14 on the year. They're 4-2 in Mountain West Conference play. It's good, but it's not great. And until they eliminate those big innings, their ceiling stays limited in the first year of Kevin Vance as the head coach of Aztec baseball. Let's move on to the softball diamond. Offensive firepower, but they have the same problem. Another roller coaster weekend for San Diego State softball against New Mexico. They lost 9-4 in game one. They lost 7-4 in game two, and they won the finale 10-3. Caleb Pollard had one of the best weekends you'll ever see. That's a big positive for the softball team. Reached base in all 6 plate appearances in one game, hit for the cycle across the doubleheader, and delivered bases clearing triple in the finale. That's a pretty dominant weekend for Caleb Pollard.
Yeah, absolutely. An incredible way to look at it. Now, the same story as last week. The offense, explosive. Pitching and defense, a little inconsistent, a little up and down. Currently sitting at 19-15 on the season. They're 4-5 in the Mountain West. And the reality is they are good enough to score with anyone, but they're not consistent enough to be able to do it and control games from start to finish like you need to do.
Yeah, what matters more right now for San Diego State? Is it winning games or is it how they're winning them? Because baseball just won a series, but they gave up multiple home runs, big innings, nearly blew a game that they had won. And in softball, they show elite offensive flashes, but they keep dropping series. So, right now, how you're winning does matter, because if you're surviving games instead of controlling them, that's going to catch up with you in conference play. Later on in conference play, it's going to catch up with you as you try to find a place into an NCAA tournament regional. And the best teams limit those mistakes. They control tempo and they finish clean. San Diego State just isn't there yet on the baseball side of things. And for softball, they're playing a little bit better than what the results are, but eventually you do have to get the results. So both teams are kind of in a tough spot right now in terms of like a purgatory of monotony and mediocrity that they have the ability to get out of. And they will try to do that next, as baseball will take on Arizona State and take on the Sun Devils this week. And for softball later on this weekend, they'll be taking on Utah State to extend their Mountain West season. So updating baseball and softball, they have the ability to do it, but it's the lack of consistency that has hurt the Aztecs.